Richard Reynolds here with columnist Bob Robb, and one of the strange things about Arizona politics is this thing called the Voter Protection Act, that if the voters pass it at the ballot box, the lawmakers can't really do anything about it. And Bob, you think it's time to take a second look at that?
I've always thought it was time to take a second, third, fourth, fifth look at it. I did think that it was excessively restrictive on the ability of the legislature to act. It was passed in 1998 after the voters approved a medical marijuana initiative. The legislature gutted it. It was put back on the ballot along with this measure that not only says that the legislature can only change a ballot measure by a 3/4 vote of both chambers. The changes have to be to further the purposes of the act, which is an awfully slippery concept. And in this particular legislature, there's a surprising consensus to do a couple things, one of which is to provide in-state tuition to Dreamers. But their hands are tied because the ban was adopted by voters in a previous initiative. So rather than being able to act on that consensus and do it now, make in-state tuition available to Dreamers this fall, because of the Voter Protection Act, the earliest it can be available is the first semester of 2023, because it has to go to the ballot in 2022. I'm thinking that maybe that might open the minds of voters to say, well, maybe we do need to give the legislature a little bit of leeway to do some things after the passage of time and the changing of sentiment.
And I guess one question the voters may have, if they're going to unhandcuff the legislature, as it were, is have the lawmakers learned their lesson to listen to what the voters approve?
Absolutely not. But if you only did something modest, such as remove the restriction that it has to further the purposes of, and leave some extraordinary vote requirement, 3/4 of both bodies, I'd prefer to reduce it to 2/3, but some kind of extraordinary majority, then the only changes that could pass would be those that represented a broad bipartisan consensus within the legislature. I think enabling that possibility is preferable to doing things like saying Dreamers have to wait a year and a half for in-state tuition if a consensus is formed that they should be eligible for it.
And I guess if that does go before voters, it will be interesting to see if the voting public has the same sort of thought process, same sort of 75-25 type split as the legislature has, but that's probably a topic and a column for another day.
Sure.